124 East Main, which is like not even the address anymore.
No? Are we on yet?
Yeah, I think you're live.
Yeah,
We're live. And I'm the guest. The host is in the back trying to get stuff done. Welcome to 124 East Main, which is not the address here anymore, is it?
No, it's not.
Why didn't you change the name of your show?
Because it's convenient.
It's convenient to not change.
Yeah, it would also be convenient if somebody wouldn't go through and delete my damn graphics.
Well,
That
your
would be
graphics were
nice.
deleted, so why would they do that?
Because they don't love me anymore around here. I can't even see myself on the TV. Yardley, can we switch the camera around? Or the TV or whatever it is over here?
Yeah.
With all apologies to Brian Pope, we're using your desk tonight, sir.
Well, I covered up his graphic.
Okay, nice.
Should we not cover it up? Look,
No,
cover it up.
we-
See how quickly-
No, because we do need to cover it up because I think technically we would be impersonating a law enforcement officer.
Sitting at the podium,
Yes.
give me a break.
No, I don't know, but then again, I don't think you can confuse us for the Lafayette City Marshal's office. Who left scissors? You mean somebody can go in,
Give me that.
delete our intro music,
All of the
can
sharp
delete our
objects.
graphics, but they'll leave us with scissors.
All of the sharp objects, in the mood you're in tonight, you shouldn't have those.
No, we're not going to go off the deep end.
Okay. I'm putting my hat on.
Yes, because that is what we're talking about tonight. Live from the AOC studios deep in the heart of downtown Lafayette, Louisiana. It's fun, it's excitement, it's freeing Peyton, and it's a Jeep jaunt tonight.
I have a Shave Galette shirt.
Nice.
Because,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gillette.
uh,
Now I'm thinking Gillette, and I have Skin Bracer coming to mind. Brooks David may or may not be watching tonight. If you are, Brooks, thank you for watching.
I like me some Brooks because when I'm working in the mornings, I grab him on Tuesdays. He does Ask the Trooper on TV3.
Right.
And then he comes into KPEL and does a bit with them, and then I grab him, bring him over to KTDY, and ask him a few questions.
And this morning he made fun of our good friend Nathan Pike.
That's easy.
No, well, it is easy, but did you hear the story of what happened with Nathan?
No.
So last Friday, we're over at the main gig, over at the big TV station across the street, and Bob Who? You survived the council meeting.
I did survive the council meeting.
So what are you doing here then? I thought you'd have gone home by now, or at least gone to filling station and got you a beer.
No, I dropped off the discs. The actual council meeting.
Okay.
And
No, we're over here. You good? You're not in front of the camera.
okay. No, I mean I didn't want to be in front of.
Oh.
Well, I didn't want to block your shot.
Oh no, you're not blocking the
No,
shot.
shot's here.
But then again, if you were to block our shot, chances are you'd be doing the public a service.
I doubt that.
So
Are you on the air?
Yeah, we're live.
Having your show?
Yeah, we're live.
There's nobody calling?
Well, that might mean the phone's broken.
We haven't
Which
we
is
haven't asked for calls yet. No, it's not
working.
working.
It's not broken.
I knew that.
And as soon as we say that, we get a phone call.
Phone call.
You, sir, are better than Miss Cleo. You realize that? Good evening, Chris. How are you, sir? Did you catch any baseball this weekend?
No.
That may be a good thing. Speaking of, Aaron Nola. Good night, Bob Lou. Good seeing you, sir. We have to get you back on camera soon. I know you don't like doing it, but we're gonna have to get you back on
Very
camera.
rare. It's rare.
By the way, Alex Labatt says he loves you and he misses you.
Yeah.
So, Chris,
You tell him the same.
I certainly will. So, how are you enjoying this lovely heat and humidity, sir? Fine. That's the first time I've heard anybody say they actually like the heat and humidity. For those of you who are out and about in Acadiana, stay cool, stay in the AC. Do not overexert yourself, folks.
Hydrate.
Yes, hydrate. You have been getting all of your fluids, correct?
Yeah.
Okay, making sure. We're trying to make sure that our people here at 124 East Main are staying healthy. Are you familiar with Jeep John at all, Chris?
Yeah.
No.
Well, you've called in when I was on with Mark Pope. You've called in and talked to us about it a few times.
Yeah.
And that's what we'll be discussing tonight. Of course, Jeep Jaunt's coming up in the near future. That's why we have JC here. We'll be discussing that. The Jeep Jaunt Jam is coming up, not this coming weekend, but the weekend after. And
2 after that.
Or 2 after this coming weekend.
Yes.
So we're gearing up. We're getting close now. And tonight we'll talk about registration. We'll talk about what you can do. And even if you can't participate in Jeep Jaunt, what you can do to help the foundation. We'll get more into that this evening. Do you have a Jeep or know somebody with a Jeep, Chris?
No.
Well, you may want to find somebody because Jeep Jaunt's a wonderful event, and even if you don't have a Jeep, and I should mention this, you can still take part. You can't ride on the traditional route, but you can still take part in the event. And again, we'll cover some of that tonight. Well, let me jump into the show with JC. Appreciate the call, Chris. All right, take care.
Bye, Chris.
Bye-bye. Chris, always our opening caller here on AOC.
Yeah.
Before Bob Who walked in, Nathan Pike.
Nathan,
Before we get into Jeep Jaunt, so I was at the station one day last week. I think it was Thursday, and we had a six-legged creature visit us.
Oh, yes. 6 or 8?
6. No,
Okay.
I believe La Cucarachas are only
6 leg? Yeah, that's
6
right.
leg, yeah.
The spiders that I've eaten.
So we see one, and all of us in the newsroom get into attack mode. But the problem is, the thing is, on top is a good 10 to 15 feet above us on a wall. None of us can grab it, and none of us are going to attempt to go get a ladder.
Right.
I have my shoe ready for it to jump. Having dealt with these things before in the newsroom at ungodly hours, I'm waiting for it just to pounce, and I can take advantage. Nathan, in his infinite wisdom, grabs a selfie stick,
Yeah.
tries to swat at it. Obviously, he's not quick enough, nor is the selfie stick big enough. And of course, our insect friend runs off into runs up on top of the little, I'm not sure what you can call it, the wall, the decoration we have above the newsroom. So we had to get somebody in with the ladder to go in and take care of it, find it and take care of it.
It wasn't
for us.
bothering anyone.
No, it was bothering someone because I don't know if it was James T. Hummel or somebody else in the newsroom who let out a shriek after they spotted it. I looked up like, oh, okay, one of those again.
Yeah. Was it the big ones, the palmetto bug, or was it the small ones?
No, this thing was huge.
The big ones. I can handle the big ones.
This thing was.
It's those little ones that are just. I don't care for those.
No, we've. I don't know if it's because of where we are, if we're close to that canal, to the trees,
right there. That's right.
Or what it is, but we have seen an overabundance of them this year.
Yeah.
Inside and outside the building. I know on across the street over at.
It could be Daniel.
I don't know because I don't think Daniel goes across the street to radio stations.
No, I think Daniel's bringing them in.
No.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I'm just messing with you, Daniel.
We can take our, but he's in Florida right now.
Oh, yeah, well then it's Daniel. It's definitely Daniel.
I'm sure he's about 3 or 4 sheets to the wind right about now. But yes, we love all of our people over across the street. I don't have my cell phone with me tonight, so if you're trying to tweet me, it's not working. The only way you can get a hold of us this evening is right here, the phone number that I'm pointing to, 337-866-8951.
366. You said 866. It's the 3. And your glasses are on and mine are off.
Oi! You want to read the number?
Right here. 337-36. I want Sesame Street. 366-8951.
We are live. It is July the 21st of 2015, and yes, we are live. So go ahead, give us a call. We'd be happy to have you. I'm sure we'll jump off subject and make fun of some of our media folks later.
We already have.
But let's go ahead and jump on subject. You are here. You're wearing the Jeep Jaunt hat.
Yes, I am.
This evening. This is the 10th annual Jeep Jaunt
coming up October 25th. Starts at Celebrity Theaters, heads down to Cypress Bayou Casino Hotel. It's a ride that's open to any Jeep, any street legal Jeep or 4x4. Mm-hmm. So as long as it's street legal, it can be in the ride.
So as long as it's street legal, it can be the ride 4x4, and that's important because it's called Jeep Jaunt. But if you have, say, a Chevrolet or a
Dodge,
Ford,
a Ram, Ford, if it's a 4-wheel drive, bring it on. We had a Cadillac one year.
Really?
Yeah, they had a Cadillac body on a Chevy chassis. It's 4-wheel drive. It was kind of funny, but yeah, we had a Lexus not too long ago with 4-wheel drive. Yeah, so it's it's not just for Jeeps, but we do limit it to any 4x4 vehicles that are street legal.
And as we alluded to earlier, even if you don't have a 4x4, you can still take part in Jeep Jaunt, but there is a caveat.
Well, you can come and you can register for the event, and when you register, you get all of the amenities that everyone else does. If you're one of the first 300 that registers, Saturday, August 8th at the Jeep Jaunt Jam, you'll get the free Jeep Jaunt t-shirt, long sleeve t-shirt with this year's 10th anniversary logo on it, and we like it. I think we did good with it. The gang over at Hilco put together a really good logo for us. if you don't have a Jeep or a 4x4, you can register, join us at Celebrity Theaters the morning of the event. When everyone else leaves to ride down to Cypress Bayou, you can get in your car or on your motorcycle or whatever and take your own route down there and meet us down there. Since you registered, you'll have the wristband, you'll have the, I said wristband, but it's an entry badge with a number on it. That badge will get you in, it'll get you your meal. That number is your door prize ticket.
Really?
So whenever we go to pull door prizes, it's whatever your entry badge number is. That's your door prize ticket. And we've had some very nice door prizes in the past. Everything from artwork to Jeep parts. Winches for Jeeps have been door prizes. There was a snake one year that we raffled off.
A snake?
A snake.
A real live
A
snake?
real live, long, big, yellow snake.
Really?
Yep. It was someone's pet, and they were done with it, and they said, you know what? We'll donate it to somebody. And it was auctioned off.
A used snake?
Well, you call it used, but snakes aren't. From what I know, snakes aren't. Don't get that attached to.
Really?
Yeah. And when they do get that attached, they usually squeeze you to death and
That's
consume
true.
you. No, but so yeah. I mean, we've had a lot of great experiences with the Jeep Jaunt. It's all to raise money for the American Lung Association, and it's cool. One of the coolest things is when somebody just comes by the radio station and says, hey, I can't go to the event, or I don't have a 4x4, but I just wanted to drop off a donation. And they do things like that. And that's really cool to see that people want to help the cause.
You mentioned the donations, you mentioned the registration. Where does all of this go? Where do the funds go?
American Lung Association is, their main goal is to eradicate lung disease. And they attempt to do that through different ways. A lot of it is through advocacy. They just want to educate people on how to live with those lung disease that there is no cure for yet. Asthma, COPD, things like that. They help people get resources to help them learn how to live through those diseases and make their environment better for them to live there. They also are advocates for clean air. Recently, we had when the Lafayette City Council was considering the
bar smoking ban?
the smoking ban. The American Lung Association asked me to go and speak at the city council meeting about my experiences with lung disease. It took my mother and some of my family members, including myself, suffer from it, and just how that there's and we talked about this ordinance, how the business owners have a right to run their business the way they want to, but the employees also have a right to be able to work in an environment where there's clean air. And if you look at a lot of the things in the oil field where the people are working with dangerous chemicals, you can't unless you have the mask on, and the company can be liable if something happens to you. Well, it's the same thing. If they allow dangerous chemicals in their place of business, that's the smoking is dangerous. I mean, it's been proven that smoking causes cancer. So being the libertarian that I am, I like the idea that the business owners can decide for themselves, but I think it's more important to protect the workers and make sure that they're healthy so that they can continue to produce for the business owner. And when you're in better health, you're a cheaper employee.
Yeah, absolutely. And from the perspective of the customers who have to go in as well. And having done, and you and I both in the radio business have gone to venues where there's been smoke. And I can tell you, I've been in venues before, I've not lasted 15 minutes where I've had to walk outside or even just say, I can't deal with this. Yeah. And that's a whole other topic for another. We could do a full hour show.
Probably
on that
so,
by
and
itself.
get some very angry phone calls about it too. That's a very, very polarizing topic, and I understand people's right to smoke, but your right to smoke ends where my lungs come into contact with it.
Right. And again, that's a whole nother discussion. We may take that up later in October as we get closer to Jeep Jaunt. But the event goes to benefit American Lung Association, and all of the proceeds that go to it.
Every penny of it. Whenever someone registers with us, if they pay with a check, whenever someone purchases one of the raffle tickets, we have a 2015 Jeep Wrangler that we're raffling off this year. Sterling Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram in Opelousas has donated a 2015 Jeep. Wow. And we're raffling it off. Raffle tickets are on sale now. The Jeep is over at Automotive Gear in Opelousas. They're going to be customizing it for us. Wow. With wheels and tires and a lift kit and bumpers, and it's going to be trail ready. All Jeeps are trail ready, but it's going to be really looking good by the time they're done with it. But raffle tickets are $20 per ticket, and they can be purchased from me at Town Square Media on Bertrand Drive, or any of the Sterling locations, or at Automotive Gear in Opelousas. We're going to have a few other locations where people can buy them as well.
And of course, that information will be over at 999ktdy.com, correct?
That is correct. Now, whenever someone writes a check for a raffle ticket or for registration or anything, that check is made out to the American Lung Association. It's not
Right.
made out to JC, it's not made out to Town Square Media, it's not made out to AJRF, which is the parent company of the Jeep Jaunt. It's made out straight to American Lung Association.
Awesome. And before the Jeep Jaunt happens, there's always a big shindig before that, typically 2 months before, and that's what's coming up in a couple of weeks from now, and that's the Jeep Jaunt Jam. For those who may not know the difference between the Jaunt itself and the Jam, talk about what the Jam is, what you guys do there, and how that leads into the Jeep Jaunt itself.
When we started the Jeep Jaunt in 2006, we had a pretty high interest from people. So we just, one day we said, okay, registration's open, and we would take registrations from people. Well, the next year, several people were calling, hey, when can we register? And I said, well, I haven't thought about it yet. So we, got everything together and said, okay, y'all can register now. The following year, a lot of people were asking us about it. So we said, people are really, this thing was taking off and it was getting very popular. So the next year we decided to have a registration kickoff party. And we gather at Sterling Automotive in Opelousas, and at 9 a.m. this year. Last year was at 8 a.m. and some people are like, okay, that's kind of early. But so we moved it to 9. And the first 300 people to register get the free t-shirt. And we've been doing that from the beginning. And I think that really encourages people to register because it's a nice long sleeve, heavy duty, a Gildan t-shirt. If you know
Right.
anything about the t-shirts, the Gildans are a good brand. Hilco Printers does all of our printing for us pro bono so that we can help raise more money for the American Lung Association. But that interest in the registration got us to start the Jeep Jaunt Jam. And the reason it's called the Jam is because we get a band every year to play. And it's not often you can find a band in the middle of the day on a Saturday, that's playing somewhere. You usually have to wait till late at night. So people like the fact that they can come out, get some great live music. We have lots of food there. And enjoy the music. There are people that come out to the Jeep Jaunt Jam that don't register for the Jeep Jaunt. They just come for the music and
Really?
hang out and have fun with us. Yeah, so that's kind of neat to know that it's turned into that kind of an event. But this year we have Dustin Saunier and The Wanted.
Great people.
Great people. He is so funny. I enjoy him as much between songs as I do his music
Yeah.
because he has great stories and he's just so funny. But the whole band is very talented. Nice guys. They're going to be playing. We've got some food that was donated by Earl's over on Kali Sulum. On Vero School Road. They've donated some of the food that we're going to be using, that we're going to be serving. So also my buddy Tony Tuchet is going to be cooking a jambalaya. Lafayette Coca-Cola is going to have the Coke truck there for us with the Coke products. We're going to have door prizes, and we're going to be showing a few of the auction items that are going to be featured during the Jeep Jaunt. But the Jeep Jaunt Jam was solely just so people can know that registration process is underway and they can line up and hopefully be one of the first 300 to get their free t-shirt.
And that's over the Opelousas courtesy location, correct? Or excuse me, Sterling
Yeah,
location.
It's at the Sterling Jeep location, which is I-49 Service Road just before you get to 190.
I'm showing my age because I remember when that was a courtesy location in Opelousas.
Yeah.
Jeez. Where did the 90s go, folks? That's a whole other question for another day. But you mentioned some of the auction items that'll be shown over at Sterling in Opelousas for the Jam. You mentioned the Jeep that'll be auctioned off.
Raffled off.
Oh, raffled off, excuse me. What other items will be up for grabs this year? No snakes, huh?
No snakes, not that I know of, but that was sprung on us at the last minute last year. Usually we have a couple of winches, for the front end of a Jeep. One, we always give as a door prize, which is, a really big draw because people it's a door prize, which is a huge item.
Right.
The other one we auction off while we're at the event. In the past, we've had Automotive Gear donated a cooling hood. It's a hood that goes on a Jeep that has the vents, so that it'll help keep it from getting too hot when you're out on the trail or out on the roads in this heat that we're having. We have art that's donated to us. We have hand sewn quilts that are donated to us. We have a lady that's in Alexandria that crochets LSU, UL, and Saints sets.
Wow.
The scarf and the hat is what she does, a set of those each year. So many people come to us and say, hey, we want to donate something, for the event. And they give us something to auction off or give us a door prize. And it's
Wow.
really cool how the community comes together. We've got people like Smokey Abear Snap-on Tools, who always gets with his company to say, hey, we have an event that we sponsor. Can you give us some goodies? And everything from creepers to use to work on your vehicle, to the blankets that you put over the fender well so you don't get anything dirty, to actual tools. Schilling Distributors always gives us a bunch of different promotional items that they get.
Yeah.
We have New News Grocery in Youngsville gives us some of the promotional items they get from their vendors. Some of the 4x4 shops, Cajun Off-Road and Automotive Gear always gives us items to use as door prizes or auction items because they get them from their vendors. So it's for the whole family. Jeeps, you got a couple of different types of Jeepers. You have the Jeepers who have the built-up rigs that go out to the trails and like to conquer the trails. They go to
Right.
the trails in either mid Louisiana, North Louisiana, Central Louisiana, I guess, or over in Texas at Barnwell, or up in Arkansas at the Superlift Off-Road Park. And you have them, they're very hardcore and they're serious about it. Then you have the other Jeepers who have a Jeep and that's what they bring the kids to school in.
Right.
And that's the beauty of the event. It brings all of those people together. And there's something for everyone. Even when the door prizes and the auction items, there's something for everyone in the group.
And that's the amazing part is this is not, and people think Jeep Jaunt, and I know the first time I thought of it was like, this is probably all hardcore Jeep enthusiasts, people who put in a lot of time and a lot of dedication into their Jeeps. But when you started telling me about it and then seeing it over the last few years and seeing the motley crew of vehicles and of people who showed up, it's really amazing to see people rally behind this.
It is cool, and to see to see 4 or 5 really built Jeeps in a row from some of the Jeep clubs, all jacked up Jeepers or Louisiana Jeepers, or we've got there's 7 Slot Society in Lake Charles is a new one. They've got a pretty good club. We've got Braha Baton Rouge Area Jeep Association. We've got North Shore 4x4. Lots of different Jeep clubs in the area. Bonton Jeeps. There's one in Vermilion Parish, and it's Southern CJs, I think. Anyway, there's several different Jeep clubs, and some of the clubs are like all about the mud. Some clubs are all about the trails. Louisiana Jeepers is about helping the community.
Right.
It's a Jeep club, but it's about helping the community. And there's so many. It's cool to see the Jeep clubs all lined up with their built-up rigs, and then you see mom and the kids in the next 4-door Jeep with just regular tires and everything. So it's really cool to see that. The combination of everyday street running Jeeps and the ones that are built for the trails.
This is JC joining us tonight, John Falcon here on 124 East Main. We are live 366-8951 for those of you who do want to get in. Operator sitting by to take your phone call. Now tell us about the route that...
We're the operators. We're going to take the phone calls ourselves, right? 'Cause
Yes.
I didn't see anybody over there.
No, Yardley is probably upstairs
Okay.
doing whatever he does.
The route, it's a street legal ride. What we do is we have a police escort that takes us from Celebrity Theaters, and we changed the route last year. And
So you're not going to get pulled over in Jeanerette for doing 4 over the speed limit by Jeanerette City Marshals?
No. We changed the route last year, and a lot of people really like the new route because the old route took us right through New Iberia, down 182 through New Iberia. And I liked going through New Iberia because once the Jeep started getting there, people would come out of their houses and they'd sit on the porch and they'd wave, and and it was like a parade for them, and they look forward to it every year. I actually have people call me that say, hey, what day is the Jeep Jaunt? I'm like, oh, you want to register? They say, no, we live on the route. We want to know what day it's coming by, so we want to be out there to watch it. So it has become a spectacle. But instead of going through New Iberia now, we take Highway 90 past New Iberia to I think it's the second exit past New Iberia.
Is that Weeks Island or is it
No.
Darnell Road?
It's before Darnell Road, and I can't remember the name of it, but it's...
Because after Lewis is Weeks Island. It's Weeks Island and then Darnell Road, I think.
Okay, well, it's I think it's the second one after. It's either the 1 or 2 before Darnell Road, and it meets up with 182 right after it comes back to a 2-lane.
Okay.
Okay, we cross over the coulee there, and Bayou Teche, and we turn right on Highway 87. Highway 87 goes all the way to the reservation,
Right.
Chittimacha Reservation. We take that all the way to the reservation, then we drive through the reservation to the casino. And when we get to the casino, they have a parking lot reserved just for us. Last year we had 509 Jeeps. Year prior to that we had 526. I say Jeeps, but vehicles. So it's getting pretty big. We park the Jeeps, walk into the casino. They've got the food set up for us. They have serving stations. You go in and you get your food, and usually it's pulled pork or chicken sandwiches or hamburgers, hot dogs, chips, and drinks and desserts. I mean, Cypress Bayou, the food at Cypress Bayou is always good. People are eating, and while they're eating, we start calling out door prizes because there's so many door prizes. We got to start.
Yeah.
And then once we see the people are about finished with eating and can pay more attention, we start with the auction. Mm-hmm. And then we just we do auction, a couple of auction items, a couple of door prizes, a couple of auction items until everything's gone.
Wow. So it's a huge event, and Cypress Bayou, as you mentioned, does a bang up job every year with it.
They've been a sponsor since day one. When we brought the idea to them, their eyes lit up and said, "We need something." They had the MDA Ride for Life, the motorcycle ride for the Cajun Harley Owners Group would go down there in the spring, and they didn't have an event like that in the fall. And they said, "Yeah, we're very interested in that," and they really jumped in big time. Same with everyone I presented it to. Was really interested. Our boss at Town Square Media was, when he heard what I wanted to do, he says, "Count me in." Your boss over at KTC TV3 said, "Yeah, we want to do that." I brought it to Robert at Sterling Automotive at the Jeep store, and he said, "Most definitely, this looks incredible." And we just had a vision that it would be one day really big. And we told everybody it's the first year, and we're hoping we make $100 to send to American Lung Association. Yeah. In that first year, we ended up making $31,000.
Wow! And where did y'all wind up last year, year 9?
You're going to ask me a question that I'm not going to know the answer to. It's right around 60,000.
Wow! But still, to have doubled the amount in less than 10 years, to have gone from 31 to above 60 is amazing. There are a lot of organizations around here who would kill to be able to make that kind of money.
We're pretty proud of it, and over the course of the 10 years, so far we've done over $500,000 for the American Lung Association. People might not think that that's a lot for an organization, but actually we're the largest fundraiser in Louisiana for the American Lung Association. Yeah, so and in the first couple of years, we went to the American Lung Association while we were putting the event together, and to get back to how it started. I was doing MC work for the Cajun Harley Owners Group for that event. Yep. And one day I was out there. This was in 2005. The year my mother died in 2004, and 2005 I was out there watching all the motorcycles roll in, and I'm thinking to myself, it'd be really cool to see a bunch of Jeeps rolling in like this because I've always been a Jeep enthusiast. Yeah. And then I thought the MDA ride is for muscular dystrophy. And I thought, what could I, donate money to if I did have a fundraiser? And then, of course, Mom came to mind right away, and I said American Lung Association because before Mom died, when her and Dad got together to talk to their lawyer and their financial planner and everybody about their final wishes, Mom said that the funeral home, whenever they set up their plots and everything, asked, when you go, because Mom, I don't think she was planning to die. It's just that they were getting everything in order. Instead of flowers, would you want someone to donate to an organization in your name? And my mom says, yeah. And she said American Lung Association. And it was less because my mom had asthma, and it was more because she saw what her asthma did to us. She saw how much we suffered because of her asthma, and how much it pained us to see her in that much pain and suffering that much. And she said, if it can help a family from experiencing what mine had to go through, please have them donate to the American Lung Association. So when I saw all the motorcycles coming in, I said, hey, I think I could do an event like this. And I thought about American Lung Association, and that evening I spoke with the management over at Cypress Bayou, and they're like, well, we like the idea. And it just kind of blossomed from there. Wow. And everyone I spoke to was like, okay, we're in. Celebrity Theaters lets us use their parking lot every year. Hilco Printers does all of our printing for us, and everyone I spoke with said we just think it's a great event. Called American Lung Association, have a meeting with them before we had put everything in place, and they're in Metairie, so we met up with them in Baton Rouge, and we were having a brunch with them, and we told them we want to do a big event, and they're like, okay, well, you can do that. we said, okay, we need your logo. And they said, we can get you our logo. And they were kind of looking at us like we were crazy,
Yeah.
not really trusting us. And then after the first year, they said, okay, that was great, and so we sent them a check. Well, the next year, we told them we were going to do it again. They said, great. And then the check we sent them next year was even bigger. And so the following year, they called us. Hey, what do we have in our event? So, and now they are, and I can understand their skepticism.
Right.
Until you see that something, until you can trust someone, I can understand that there's a bunch of scams that go on. But once they got to know my family and see what we can do, they're in. They do as much as they can for us.
You mentioned the celebrity theaters, and you told me the story, I think it was at the end of last year. There's now a bit of a fringe benefit that comes with using the celebrity theater on a Sunday morning. There's a church or a church congregation that meets at the theater on Sundays, and they went out of their way to help you guys out in the early going before you took off. Tell us a little bit more about that.
Yeah, Church Acadiana is the name of the organization, and it's a Christian organization. They meet at the theater. That's where they hold church, if you want to call it. But they're I don't want to use the word progressive because I don't want to give the wrong idea.
Right.
They're Christian, but without the pomp and circumstance. It's a lot more relaxed. They sing. They have musicians that play, and they preach, and it's really a relaxed but inspiring atmosphere.
Right.
Well, the first couple of years that we were doing the Jeep Jaunt, we were invading on their space because their church started at 10, and our event left there around 10. So we had all the parking lot, and well, the first couple of years, they were very cordial with us. And I asked Pastor Andy if he would give a blessing before we left. And he said, oh, gladly, And so he came out there on the microphone, and everybody was at their vehicles, and everybody got quiet and bowed their heads. And he asked for blessing for the ride, for safety and everything. And that was pretty cool. So we did that for a couple of years. Well, once the event started getting bigger, Church Acadiana members started cooking pastries. And they bring homemade pastries into the lobby. And I told him, I said, that's a great idea. I said, put a donation bucket out there and get some donations for your church, because people can drop some change or a couple of bucks for And he says, no. He says, we don't want to do that. They're here to help your organization. We just want to thank them for doing something good for the community.
Wow.
So they have pastries. They made T-shirts about Church Acadiana Loves Jeep Jaunt, and I think on the back, Jesus Loves You. Just really, really getting into it. They made Huggies for your beverages, and they're really getting into it, and it's really cool to see. They get excited about it because they want to be able to spread their word as well, and have such a captive audience, and to be able to share like that. I know they're really enjoying it. It's turned into a really good relationship.
Did you ever think day one, or when you envisioned this back in 2004, 2005, that Jeep Jaunt would take off and become what it is today?
Yes and no. When we started it, one of our in our mission statement, we put that we want to become one of the premier fundraising events in Acadiana, and that was more of a goal than a reality at the time. I think in my brain, Shannon, my girlfriend, was the one that said put that in there, and it's true. When you say it and you read it and you think it, you make yourself want to do it.
Right.
And I would say that in its class, I would say that it is one of the premier fundraising organizations in Acadiana. I think that we've done very well with it. My family is very proud of it, and we know that Mom and Dad would be proud, which is what drives us. We know that we were doing what Mom and Dad would be proud of us doing. Dad passed away in 2012, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, time flies by.
Yeah.
But he was able to make it to the rest of the Jeep Jaunts, and every year he'd cry because just to see all these people coming out, and remembering our mom like that just made him very proud. But I envisioned that we would have to limit it at 500 Jeeps, and beginning 2 years ago, that's what we had to do. So we're kind of surprised it actually got that big, but we're very proud of it.
Now, even with that limit, is that a limit for Jeeps that can follow the route? Were you taking more that could take an alternate route?
Right. Well, I was speaking to some law enforcement officials, And there's an organization that we asked to help us in the beginning, and they're like, we'd love to, but there's some restrictions where we aren't able to. Okay, and I understand it's not. I mean, I don't want to name them, but it's not their fault.
Right.
So I said, well, can I pick your brain about a few things? And they said, yeah, because they have provided escorts for other big events. And so we picked their brain about the size of the ride and what, because our main goal is to have people come together for a common cause safely. Okay? If we raise $100 to the American Lung Association, I'm going to be happy because it's $100 more than they would have had.
Right.
But what makes us most happy is seeing all these people come together and attempting to do something good for the community. So with that safety in mind, I was picking their brains. I said, what do you think would be a safe number of vehicles? And they compared it to a few other rides that they were involved with. And they said, we think 500 Jeep-sized vehicles would be the limit, and so that's what made us decide to put the 500 as the limit. And 8 years in, we reached it, which was kind of cool for us.
And that limit's still in place for this year, right?
Yes.
Okay. Now, to make sure that you're not left out, you can register now. And for those, so it's not open yet.
That's the reason we have the Jeep John Jam.
Gotcha.
That opens registration, and the registration opens at August 8th, 9 a.m. at
Gotcha.
Sterling Automotive.
Good evening, Z.
Hey, what's going on?
Not much.
Yeah, so you missing the cap tonight, huh?
Yeah, I probably should have kept it on.
I only put your program on about 10 minutes ago. What's going on tonight?
Well, at least we know one person's watching. We appreciate it. The famous JC from KTDY is here to talk about Jeep Jaunt.
Who is that?
That is JC, afternoons 3 to 7 on KTDY.
Oh, that's JC. I've never seen him before.
Yeah, you won a Savage Garden CD from him by answing the no-brainer like 15 years ago.
Oh my!
I sure did.
That's funny.
Yeah, that was...
He doesn't at all appear to be what he sounds like on the radio.
Well, you haven't. I mean, I don't sound like I do on the radio. There's more processing, I guess, at the radio station than there is with AOC.
No,
When you hear the voice on the radio, I guess you try to associate a picture with the voice, but
Oh, I see what you're
I
saying.
would never picture to look that way. But
Yeah.
I've been listening to what you've been talking about. There's pretty good things going on.
You were picturing Brad Pitt, weren't you?
No.
That's what I hope people envision when they listen to the dog in here.
Not at all. Look, I had one question for you tonight, Ian.
What's that?
This construction that's going on Verrod School Road near the bridge. You know anything about that?
Yeah, that is ongoing. I forget for how long, but
It's going to be closed tomorrow and Thursday from, I think, 1 p.m. to 4 p.m., something like that. I saw the sign as I was coming in tonight.
It's either 1 to 4 or 1 to
They
5.
did that also last week. Now, last week it was supposed to be from, I think, it was the same time spread last week. But I did notice some people passing through, I think, on Wednesday.
Yeah, because
I was kind of curious about it because I've passed there since, and I haven't seen any work or anything. I don't know what's being done. So I was just kind of curious as to whether that was something that Chris Christie was conducting.
Well, that's pretty funny.
You lured me right into that one, and you went for the
I thought
good
it was
punch.
a Chris Christie project, so that's why I wanted to ask.
Chris
you,
Christie had no idea.
what they're doing. Do you know what kind of improvements they're doing to the bridge?
Chris Christie had no idea that was taking place.
Yeah, allegedly.
I didn't see anything either. I kind of looked around the bridge and I didn't notice any
I just thought
construction.
it might
No,
be
I know last
I
week.
succeeded.
Last week, the construction ran, I think, from 7 to 5, and then there was one morning where some genius got into a crash right as they were beginning to start work, and that delayed
Well,
the...
I thought maybe they were cutting the trees around the bridge because I know a few weeks back, about a month ago, they were cutting trees in that area. Like they're doing some development on the south side of the road and the roadway, and they had to hold traffic up while they were dropping the trees in the road, dropping the branches and moving them out of the way. So I thought maybe they were going to be finishing those trees, but evidently they're doing something with the bridge.
No, if I remember right, they're either... I don't remember if it's a reconstruction or if they're changing out the guardrails, but they're doing some sort of work on the bridge itself. I don't remember the specifics.
Okay. I thought maybe they were feeding the birds like Chris Christie had something going on. I didn't know what it was. But
No.
anyway.
Not quite.
You guys just called in to say hi.
I appreciate it, and thank you for luring me in hook, line, and sinker.
DJ on the other end.
Well, thank you very much.
Yeah, then he maybe that Savage Gardens. I don't know where that CD is, but
I have it over here.
no, okay.
Is that the Truly
I
Madly
have it on
Deeply?
my
Yes.
internet, yeah.
Yeah, I forget the name of the album itself, but Truly Madly Deeply.
Call
Deeply
in all the time.
was on an album.
Cool. Well,
But yeah.
thank you.
But yeah, thank you for calling, and thank you for
Have a
being
good night.
you too, and thank you for being the one person out there who's watching that we know of.
Well, you got more viewers out there. I think they're just afraid to call in.
Well, that's a
I
shame
think they're
because
intimidated by the owl.
yeah, the person with the most strongest.
Sorry, Ian, I had to do it.
Anyway, y'all have a good one.
You too. Thank you,
I
Z.
do. I do have a good
Okay.
one. Like,
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
people tell me to have a good one, and I do, and I don't know why they tell me to. Anyway,
I don't
okay. Okay, so what else?
I don't know. You lost me on who.
There's two
366-8951 is the phone number. Again, JC here, John Falcon is his real name. JC is what you know him as on KTDY. And jumping off of Jeep John for a second, you got to, I saw this on Facebook, got a chance to live your dream briefly last week when Mary Gallion joined you doing the morning show on KTDY.
Yeah, well, I don't know if it was a dream, but I listened to her a few years back when she was on the radio. She was over on at our competition. She used to be on Key94 and a few other radio stations in Acadiana. But yeah, I was in high school listening to her and Jay Walker when they did their morning show together. So it was kind of neat to have her on the air with me. I was filling in for the morning crew, and it gets hectic in there by yourself. So I try to have someone in there with me. So she came in Wednesday morning. Carol Ross came in.
Really?
Sat in with me for about an hour. Yeah, that was nice. So it's kind of cool to have people come in and hang out. My real idol, though, I don't know if I ever told you this story.
No.
When I was in Abbeville, I would listen to the radio all the time. I mean, I'd get in trouble for having my sister had a little green, I think it's my sister's, a little green realistic radio, the little transistor radio. And bedtime was 9 o'clock. And sometimes I was okay with that because Dr. Demento came on at a radio station out of Little Rock, Arkansas, and I could catch it on that little radio sitting in my bedroom in Abbeville.
Wow.
So I listened to Dr. Demento from 9 till 10 every night, and every now and then I'd get too excited about what I was hearing, or it'd get too loud and Dad would hear it, they'd come and fuss, but growing up in Abbeville, I was about 12 or 13 when I won a trivia contest on KROF.
Wow.
And at the time, it was Michael and Milner in the morning. Okay, Michael G. Adams and Dave Milner. And I won a Rick James album. So my mother takes me down to the radio station after school one day to pick up the album. Had she known Rick James or his style, she probably would not have driven me down to the radio station to pick up the album. But anyway.
Was this the Street Songs album, or was this another one?
I didn't listen to it. So I don't even know where it is. I think one of my brothers might have grabbed it, but so we went down there, and it was in the afternoon after school, and I was all excited because I was hoping I was going to get to meet Dave Milner, because I want to meet Dave Milner. Well, of course, Dave was gone for the day because he did the morning show, so I didn't get to meet him. And then we had some type of basketball playoff games at the Henry Hyde Gym, and I don't remember if it was, for some reason it was on the radio, and KROF was carrying the game. Well, Dave Milner was calling the game.
Wow.
And I was just sitting back there behind the bench, just mesmerized. I wasn't even paying attention to the games. I was mesmerized that there's Dave Milner. He's right there. And I didn't go up and talk to him or anything because I was too nervous. Fast forward 15 years or so, and maybe not that many, but I got out of the Army and I got a job in radio in Abbeville. And working overnights, midnight to 6 a.m. I did that for 8 months, and then I moved to evenings. Well, when I moved to evenings, it was around Christmas time, and they had a Christmas party they invited me to. Dave Milner was still working at KROF, so he was just do the news on the morning show. He'd stay from 6 to 8, and then I think he'd go and start in sales, or 6 till 9 he'd go and start in sales. So I saw him and didn't introduce myself or anything, and just in passing, he said a few words to me, and I said something back, and I was still nervous because, he was my idol. Fast forward another 2.5 years, I get hired for the morning show there. And when I found out I was going to be doing the morning show in Huey Darby's place, I said, am I going to have a sidekick? And he says, oh yeah. And I'm like, who? And he said, well, it's going to be Dave still, because I thought Dave and Huey were both leaving, but it was just Huey leaving, and Dave Milner was still there. So I got to do a morning show for 3 years with my idol, Dave Milner.
Did you ever tell him how nervous you were?
Yes, and then he thought it was the silliest thing in the world. and Dave passed away just this past year.
Really? I didn't know that.
Yeah. So anyway, that was that's really kind of a cool story that I was able to listen to my radio idol for a number of years when I was growing up, and then got the chance to work with the Mary Guy in the same way. I mean, I
Yeah.
really looked up to her. You grow up listening to him, and it's kind of cool to be able to work alongside of them.
And of course, our good friend Cammie Doucette keeping
Yep.
KROF rolling and hopping along.
Still going. Cammie's at least 75.
Really?
Yeah. And he's been doing this for a long time.
Yeah, he has.
And making music.
And still, I think he has more energy on Saturday mornings when I walk in that building than I'll ever have on a good day.
Oh, he doesn't do anything else the rest of the week. He just bums out Monday through Friday. I'm just kidding.
Caller, you're live on 124 East Main. Good evening. Caller?
Hey, is this Aaron?
Yep, it's me.
First of all, JC.
Yeah.
Everything you do, man.
Oh, cool. Thank you.
Not a problem. Wake up with you guys every morning. Just want to say love everything you do.
Thank you.
Just a question. You guys are doing a great job. There's one thing. Ian,
Yeah.
can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Two questions. One, where did you get that desk?
This is courtesy of the Lafayette City Marshal's office. They bring the desk in here and they leave it here, so I don't know if it's community property now. If you want to know where they got the desk made, I'm sure Brian Pope or Phil Conrad over at the Marshal's office can answer that question.
Well, we need to rein in public spending because that is the largest desk I've ever seen in my life.
Well, this is...
That's taxpayer money.
No, I think Nicky Picard paid for this out of his own pocket.
Well, my goodness, that looks like it could uphold a family of four. Second question for you.
Uh-huh.
The owl.
Yes.
Whose owl is this?
That was my
I need to know.
That was my great-grandmother's owl. She passed away the Saturday before we did our very first show back in 2008. And the owl got passed down to me. So we brought it on the very first show on June 18th of 2008, or 2008, dear Lord, of 2008. We had the owl on the very first show here on 124 East Main. Some smartass on YouTube said that it had the most solid performance. So we brought it back for the next show, and over the course of the last 7 years, and I would venture to say 200 plus episodes now of 124 East Main, the owl has been here every single show. It has been the one constant on 124 East Main, even on shows where I figuratively have not shown up and have almost passed out. The owl has been here and has been on the show. Whether it's been in the background, on the desk, in the foreground, the owl has always shown up on camera on 124 East Main over the course of our 7-year run here on
Probably
AOC.
the wisest guest you've had.
Yeah, the one smart enough not to open its mouth.
Look, I'm going to give you one suggestion before I go. You've got one guest who's wiser, and he's sitting right next to you. Just a little suggestion, bud.
Yeah, I
think
appreciate.
every week you should have a different hat or some type of adornment for that owl, just to spice it up. Because look how good that hat is on JC.
Hold on a second.
Owl hats.
Let's see. Hold on just a second.
Hold on,
We
let's
may be
see
able
what
to-
this does.
Let's see if we can, if the owl can do its best Samuel L. Jackson impersonation. That doesn't exactly work out. There we go. That's kind of working right there.
You want it
Let's see.
straight? Okay.
Oh, well, almost. Let's see. Turn it. Ah, dadgummit. You see? Yeah, JC,
Yeah.
you fix it. I'm not a good fashion designer. There we go. Yeah, it now has more of the French mystique than Samuel L. Jackson, but that'll work.
Right, look, you're already making a statement, but people are going to flip the channel and think you guys got something important to say. Love everything you do. Love you guys. You keep it up. I'm gonna go fuss at the wife because she's making too much noise in the kitchen. But I love you guys. Y'all keep it up.
Thank you. We love you too. Thank you for watching.
Take care.
All right.
All right, bye-bye.
Interesting.
I just recognized the phone number.
Who is it? I don't know who that is.
I'll tell you off the air. But
Okay.
by the way, in case you missed the first half hour, Bill Brosha says he loves you and he misses you.
It's going already.
Yeah, Bandit will swing back through because the operator had to tell him he was still on hold.
Yeah. So let me think of.
I referenced him earlier
That
in the
was
show.
about
and-
it. Disguising the voice.
No, it was a very poor disguising of voice, but it worked well enough to where after it took me a while, but I figured out who it was. Good evening, Bandit.
My position bring all into the studio Sunday morning.
Yeah, I may have to, and I'm glad you reminded me. That's right. It's this Sunday I'm filling in for you on Big Time Sports?
Yeah, I'm going to Cooperstown, baby.
That's right. Craig Biggio's being inducted into the Hall of
I was
Fame.
about to say, there's a Hall of Fame of some sort in Cooperstown.
Yep, Baseball Hall of
Yeah,
Fame.
that is
I'm going
cool.
with Stevie P and Foot. It should be interesting.
Oh, Lord, if you're going with those two, it definitely will be interesting.
Man, I don't know if I could go anywhere in public with Stevie P because he's so beautiful.
Yeah, he's a legend in his own mind.
In his own mind, that's the operative phrase there.
Oh, yeah. So what's going on tonight? I know we ain't got much longer, but...
Yeah, we're talking Jeep John. Speaking of, what time is it anyway?
It's
We got
10
it.
till.
John going on. Oh, yeah. Well, yeah, he used to go in on Mark's show.
Yeah.
And he's been on 124 East Main
Yeah,
back when we were on,
definitely.
on Monday night.
Oh, really?
So
Okay.
it's just a change of pace for both of us, really.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're talking Jeep Jaunt tonight. We've did some of that. We've talked some radio. We've also run off with other shenanigans too. So
Not enough, but some.
yeah, some.
Well, thanks for helping me out Sunday, and take care, buddy.
I will, and thank you for calling and reminding me. When are you flying out to Cooperstown?
5:30 Friday morning, but I'm gonna text you Friday.
That sounds good. So Friday morning, you headed up to Cooperstown. Now, do me one favor while you are up there. If you do nothing else, save Stevie P from himself, because I know in upstate New York, there are Tim Hortons up there, and Tim Hortons can be addictive if you have just one of their donuts or whatever they serve over there.
Oh, they got. What's the place called?
It's Tim Hortons. It's a Canadian restaurant named for a former hockey player, bless his soul, and their food's addictive. If Stevie P has something from Tim Hortons, he will get addicted. It'll be another Dairy Queen for him. So whatever you do, make sure he does not eat at Tim Hortons.
He's pretty stern on his Dairy Queen and his Denny's.
Ah, yeah, that's true. I'm sure we'll find a Denny's up there, so we'll be okay.
Oh yeah.
I finally found out
All right.
what Denny's
Thanks,
was.
Ian.
Thank you, Bandit. I'll see you,
Bandit.
son. I'll see you when you get back.
All right.
All right, bye-bye.
Yeah, phone's ringing again.
Maybe the phone ringing in there.
Oh, it might be in there. Okay. Yeah, we got 8.
Oh, my cell phone's right here.
You have your cell phone.
Doggone it.
People have been tweeting you.
Not necessarily.
Oh.
That was a push notification from our friends over at Channel 3
Well, I get
teasing what
those,
they're
but it didn't show up on my phone.
teasing the 10 o'clock. We've got about 4 minutes left in the show here this evening. One last push on Jeep Jaunt. It's going. Jeep Jaunt's coming up in October, but the Jeep Jaunt Jam is in 2 weeks,
3 weeks.
3 weeks.
Oh, well, on
So-
August 8th.
August 8th. Okay.
August 8th, 9 o'clock, Sterling Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram on I-49 in Opelousas. It's your first opportunity to register for the 10th annual Jeep Jaunt. First 300 people get the free Jeep Jaunt t-shirt. 50 people are going to be chosen at random. 50 people in attendance are going to be chosen at random to get the specialty Jeep Jaunt item this year. In the past, it's been Jeep Jaunt beach towels, it's been gym bags, it's been this cap, it's been window shades for your vehicle. And I'm sure there's some other stuff that we've done that I can't remember this time. But we're going to have food there. We're going to have Coke. We're going to have beverages. Dustin Saunier and the Wanted going to be playing. And it'll be your first opportunity to register for the 10th annual Jeep Jaunt. Oh, also raffle tickets for the 2015 Jeep Wrangler
Yes.
that Sterling Automotive has donated for us to raffle off. Tickets are $20 per ticket. The raffle is going to be at the Jeep Jaunt in October. But of course, we're selling tickets now. We're hoping to sell all 3,500. Now, I don't know if you can do math real quick, but the odds of winning if you buy a ticket, 1 in 3,500. That's pretty good, right?
Yes.
Okay, so there you go. We're only selling 3,500 tickets. So if you buy a $20 ticket, you have a pretty good chance of winning. Tickets are available at Automotive Gear in Opelousas. They're going to be customizing the Jeep for us. Tickets are available at any of the Sterling Automotive locations and at Town Square Media on Bertrand Drive.
Awesome. And all that information will be at 999ktdy.com. If it's not there already.
It's there now.
It's there already, so you can go ahead and check them out as well. JC, thank you for coming in tonight,
Thank
sir.
you, Ian.
We appreciate it. We'll get you in again before
Okay.
before Jeep Jaunt. We can remind people before that, before it comes up in October. Before we forget, and since they deleted our graphics from the system, I neglected earlier to mention 124 East Main is underwritten by Fit Life and Coach Brian Broussard, located in the 5H Plaza on Kali Saloom Road, not too far from Rue Louis XIV. Doing wonders for me. I'm down 10 pounds, and instead of looking like I'm 8 months pregnant, I look like I'm about 6 months pregnant now. So if it can work for me, it can work for you as well. That's Fit Life, 5H Plaza, Kali Saloom Road, not too far from Rue Louis XIV. Proud underwriters of 124 East Main. Again, next week we will be here. I need to see if we can get Jay Walker in here, get you and Jay Walker in on the show one evening to just talk music. That way we can do our annual music show, but maybe get a little bit more depth than just me rambling about what I hate. So I'm going to see if Jay's up for it. If you're up for it, I'd love to have you back in here some point in August to do the music show.
Well, we'll be able to play. Can we play music on the air?
Rock Bros did it. I don't see why we couldn't.
So we'd be able to play Rick Astley's Never Gonna Give You Up.
I don't see why not.
Okay, we're gonna Rickroll, people.
Sounds good.
I'm in.
Sounds like a
30
plan.
seconds.
30 seconds.
Why is he such a time?
Because apparently he was watching his clock when he went over to a pub on Jefferson Street and came back. All right, that'll do it for the show. That's been JC Falcon. I'm Ian Ozan. This has been 124 East Main. We'll see you back here, God willing, if the checks don't bounce, next Tuesday night at 9 o'clock. Until then, always remember and never forget, don't take life too seriously. You're not getting out alive anyway.